Evil science and magic buddies.
Hello and welcome to the Cryptonaut podcast presents Evil Science and Magic Buddies, the show within the show, The Conspiracy of the Conspiracy Listener Stories, Part 31. I am Mark Storrs, and with me as always is
Uncle Bobby.
Uncle Bobby, thank you so much. And
I am the Chris.
the Chris, we're back, we're doing it. We're here, midsummer, all kinds of storms, phones blowing up.
I have not potted dry in 3 weeks.
Yeah,
It's true,
at least.
we haven't.
Yeah,
And I've
'cause
not gotten called into work in the last.
It always starts at the time we start the pod.
Just right at the
were
time.
talking
Like
about it.
the monsoon
It was
comes in.
sunny, and then like 5:30, eight tornadoes.
Yep.
4
Yeah.
hails.
Yeah, no, I always call that the curse of working second shift, is that you'd always get hit with a rainstorm.
Yeah.
Oh
And it
yeah.
was always on second shift. It never happened during the day.
I had to
No.
run out with a tin Santa tray over my head, lacking
Aw,
an umbrella
That's adorable.
from hanging out with my nephew. It's usually what we use as our Play-Doh tray to
Nice.
sculpt Nessies and the whatnots. Always a Nessie with Uncle Rob, you know that.
Very cool.
But I was like, he's like, Uncle Rob, take the tin. You don't want to be wet for the pot. I'm like, buddy, it's too late, but I'm gonna do it. Ran out.
You have a tin on your head.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But I'm happy to be here, and
No,
I feel good regardless.
Yeah, no,
I brought a whole change of clothes.
Chris,
I
Chris was
literally
smart.
did.
He
Did
brought
you
a
really?
change
Yeah.
of clothes.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
and he's potting barefoot. I've noticed, which is
Yeah,
gotta
no,
be
he
comfortable.
came in
I was
wearing-
not going to ruin shoes. I ruined my old pair of Nikes because they got soaked and they just never recover.
Smart.
Man.
I'm like,
so
not doing
smart.
it.
Yeah, we were having a bathroom break, and I'm like, oh, Chris is wearing sandals.
Yeah.
Weird.
I
Never
don't know if you
happens.
guys can do this, but
Not
I
wasting
can't
my
see.
Nikes.
I can't see bare feet on a carpet without thinking of Scrunching Your Toes, the cure for jet lag at the
Oh,
beginning
Die
of
Hard?
Die Hard. Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
It had nothing to
trying
do
it
with the
right
movie,
now.
but for some reason, and when I've flown, you know, to different continents or whatever, I've tried it too. Can't say that it works, but then again, I'm on a fucked up sleep schedule.
Well, yeah.
I'm always exhausted after like a fucking 27-hour flight. So who the fuck isn't?
Yeah.
I don't think scrunching your toes really helps, but it's always been in my mind as the fucking cure-all for jet lag.
I like it.
Yeah.
Was it jet lag or was it just like anxiety?
I think it was like the time difference between New York and LA. I could be wrong.
Okay.
I'm trying it right now, and we'll see.
So I
if it
remember like
counts
he was
my-
like wicked high strung, and then he said it did it, and then it was okay.
I'm
Huh.
thinking jet lag, but Chris might be right.
Okay,
I don't know.
Regardless,
we're trying it.
I've scrunched my fucking toes on many a carpet to no avail.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
it's just about putting your best foot forward and trying it, Robert.
And that's what we're here to do right now.
The facts that movies give you.
Exactly.
As we always.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
it. I mean, that was our teacher outside of, I guess, parents and teachers.
Totally. We're here. We're doing it. Listener stories, like I mentioned, part 31. If you'd like to include your experience in our listener story series, please feel free to email those to cryptonautpodcast@gmail.com, or you can actually go to Cryptonaut Podcast, and there's a form that you can fill out, send them in, and we'll get them. And we categorize everything, and we do flags and tags and all kinds of folders and all
Oh,
things.
yeah. And Mark sent me the vast bulk of them.
Yeah.
This may be, for a long time, the last time I'm surprised by listener stories.
Yeah, no, you have them now, buddy.
Everyone knows
the
it's
power's in your hands.
one of my great delights to actually podcast and not
Yeah.
know what the fuck we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
But it's important because this is such an amazing resource that everyone has sent us. And it is a vast reservoir at this point, and we want it to keep getting bigger. So I'm just going to use this also amongst my research. I mean, Mark had it all. He always chose them, but now I've got my hands on it, and it's going to be just part of the pantheon of stories we do in the future. And of course, you'll be credited in any way you want to be credited. Obviously, anonymity will be respected if that's what you choose.
Sure.
And but some of our future pods will be just stories that were sent to us by you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give it like the full on, probably call you, well, at least send you emails for like follow ups and who knows. So if you send a story, be prepared to hear from me at some point.
There it is. We're doing it. A haunted cabin in South Dakota. Not sure about my theme this week.
Oh.
We'll see if we can find one as we go along.
Oh, I love that.
Oh.
Find the theme week. It's
Yeah.
actually, that's even better than Mystery Bag Monday.
What I went for this is I went for just two. I went for a ghost, and spoiler alerts, an alien.
Oh,
Because I was reading them and I'm like, oh, let's do a little yin
Little
yang
mix and
here.
match.
Yeah, let's do a little paranormal.
sometimes you want
grab
salt
bag.
and sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all
There you
right.
go.
Chris and I, we always used to eat some salty shit, and then we would pile on the chocolate donuts.
There
and then
we
we
are.
would watch crazy Japanese movies because that's what we love.
Drink bad sangria.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
So much
Nice.
sangria. Oh, my
But
God.
good, but bad.
Sometimes I'm nostalgic for it, actually. We might have to do a revisit. It's been long enough, and it's summer. Once the sun finally shines again, and we're not in fucking the rainy season.
All right, I'll bring a lot of ibuprofens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know we'll live to regret it, but we'll do
instant
it.
headache.
Maybe we'll do fancy sangria, not like Carlo Rossi. We'll like fucking
Yeah.
get the real shit. And
It's not the same,
Maybe add
no.
fruit. I know it's not the same.
Well,
Yeah.
The shit hangover is part of the deal.
It is.
yeah, it is.
All right.
It is. Haunted cabin in South Dakota, Robert. Let's do it.
So stoked. Hey fellas, this is coming from a listener. We're not going to out him, I guess. We don't. Did he give a disclaimer on whether or not? I'm just going to say Steven. We'll leave
Okay,
it
that's
at that.
fine. Yeah, Steven. Yep.
Because obviously, if we don't know, we're going to assume you want your privacy respected.
Yep.
So Steven sent this. I am a paranormal investigator in South Dakota, and this experience is what made me believe in the paranormal. So I guess it triggered his need to investigate.
Yeah.
That's interesting. To this day, that night at the cabin is the most fear I have ever felt in my life. FYI, this story is mine, but I wrote it up as a case report for my Facebook page. I try to put up a new report each week. And I don't think he'd mind us saying like what the investigative group is. He'd probably like the hype.
No, I mean it's Strange Plains Investigations, so I'm sure you can look them up on the Facebooks, the social medias, and whatever. Yeah, I mean if he's a paranormal investigator here and he's putting up cases weekly, check him out. I'm sure there's a bunch of really fun stuff there.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
So it's a first-person story written in the third person is what I'm assuming he's preparing us for.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. In 2007, at a cabin on the shore of Lake Thompson, South Dakota, 3 preteens were visited by an unseen entity while on a family trip. Being near in age, it was determined that the boys, who were cousins, would share a room for the night. It was a small second-story room on the corner of the house furnished with 1 bunk bed, 1 small child's bed, 2 windows, and a large rug on the aged wooden floor. Being preteens, the boys considered themselves too cool to socialize downstairs with the rest of the family and stayed in their room listening to music with the occasional snack run to the kitchen downstairs. Times I remember well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I know what are they called? Tweens now or something? I don't know. Or maybe it was 10 years ago. I have no idea if there's like a designation. Preteen is just fine. But I remember being like 11, 12. Feeling cool enough, but you don't have any of the autonomy yet
Right.
of the proper
Yeah.
teenage years. And so, like, I'm going to stay in my room. I'm going to listen to my fucking Slayer and my Misfits. I'm going to draw my pictures and, use all my parents' food.
Not
and
hang
cable
out
and
with
do
the
whatever.
adults.
Yeah, I'm going to treat them like they're a parasite when I'm fucking completely living on them. Even though I was nice to my parents, but I spent literally all my fucking time in my room.
Yeah.
Totally.
And they were kind enough to get me a television, a drawing table, and a writing desk with a fucking Smith Corona typewriter. So, I mean, even in my fucking youth, I was set up. Couldn't write for shit. Could kind of draw, loved to watch TV late at night. I got to stay up past David Letterman. That was the fucking rule.
Shit.
When I was like 11, they said, all right, after
damn.
Letterman, you go to bed. Because they knew I was a fucking night owl. Anyway, it's not the Uncle Rob story. I'm just saying.
This is the
It is now.
origins.
The origins of Uncle Rob.
The origins of the bad horse.
You're not lying. Like pretty soon the cooler got sneaked. I don't know.
Yeah.
Up there with like the fucking big liter of SoCo and the ice. That didn't happen until a few years after. I was not drinking SoCo at 11.
All right, well.
Point being, back to the story, soon it was late at night and the boys were the only ones awake in the house. That's when strange things started to happen. Here and there they heard a thump or a scratch coming from the wall. At first they thought it was weird but assumed it was another family member moving in the next room. Gradually, the noises got louder and more numerous. Quote, "It sounded like you thumped the wall with the soft part of your fist, and the scratches were like fingernails. I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't one thing dragging across the wall, it was multiple things, just like if you dragged your fingernails across the wall." Close quote. As the activity intensified, the boys became terrified. One of the boys laid down on the floor, pulled a pillow over his head, and refused to acknowledge the activity or the other 2 boys for the rest of the night.
I mean,
There's always one at a slumber party.
Yeah.
Like,
it works.
if you're playing
It's
like
not happening. It's not happening.
Yeah, it works.
like horror, like I always wanted to like watch a plethora of horror films at my sleepovers when I was a kid. Now, some of them took place obviously I'm sorry, I'm making this the Uncle Rob show, but pre fucking our family owning a VCR. So it was whatever weird shit was on HBO at night. But I do remember one kid in my 4th grade sleepover, so that would have made me 9. We were watching Friday the 13th, I think part 2. It was on HBO. The other guys were excited. I was worked up. Poor Joe, won't out him. A sobbing, crying, grab his ears, like shaking mess.
Yeah.
Over Friday the 13th part 2?
You know, I'm not here to judge a kid, but
Oh,
yeah.
I am.
Oh, fuck.
I am.
I mean, I judged him that night.
I'm the wrong person to say that shit in front of.
So I'm like, I went to mom and I'm like,
Did you let your kids watch Friday the 13th Part 2 that age?
Yeah, totally. If they wanted to, though, I would.
well, it might have been dubious. My
I mean-
parents were super open about horror films because my mom loved them and
My
she took
parents
me to the
didn't care either.
drive-ins. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris and I both went to the drive-ins at the same time to see Altered States and Excalibur.
Yeah.
But anyway, my point is, he stayed. We turned off the movie. There is always somebody that is less prepared for terror.
Yeah.
I kind of understand this kid, though, with the whole weird
Because it's real.
ghost activity. Yeah, it's not just baghead
Yeah, it's-
Jason stalking
yeah,
in
it's
the
not a
woods.
movie.
This is like, no,
It's
there's
happening.
some actual shit happening.
It's not a TV you can turn off.
Exactly.
So that's legit.
this is a ghost all up in your room.
Yeah. All right.
Or maybe a demon.
All right. Save it because we don't know.
We'll see.
Quote, it would be on the ceiling. He's referring to the scratches and thumps now. Then the wall, then the door, then the other wall. All right. I might be that kid.
Yeah, no, I would
At
totally.
that point, yeah. And no one's outing the scared kid.
No, I
A
mean,
lot of them grow up to be huge horror fans.
this kid, I understand with this kid,
Yeah.
100%.
It's a shit show. Sometimes, excuse me, it would do it right next to one of us and we would freeze, scared to death. If you were touching a wall, you could feel it. I would not be touching a wall.
Man.
I would be as close to the center of the room as possible.
Yeah, that's so creepy.
Because you don't want
though.
to feel the thump, especially if it's an outside wall.
This. Oh man.
Well, yeah, these are solid studio walls. Could you imagine if you felt a fucking thump through this wall? Well, we know it's haunted, so we'll deal with that later.
These poor
All right.
kids, man, this sucks.
Eventually, the 2 cognizant boys decided to make an expedition to their uncle's room down the hall for help. As they crept out their door and down the hall, the activity followed them closely. Quote, it scratched along the wall next to me the whole way like it was walking right next to me. Just talking about it makes the hair on my neck stand up. I kept looking for the thing, but there was nothing there. End quote. Terrified and huddled closely together, they slowly made their way to their uncle's door. Quote, when I opened the door, I heard the thing scratch the wall loudly around the whole room. It was like it was mocking me. I opened my mouth to say my uncle's name, and it took me 3 tries to get the word out. I was so scared I could hardly speak. End quote. When the boys finally woke their uncle, the noises stopped immediately. Oh, the dick!
Of course.
Yeah,
Oh.
no, man. This is. I know this is what it does.
It's a douche poltergeist.
You finally get the adult, and then it's like quiet.
Mhm.
Yep. Oh, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
You're the scared kids that were too cool to hang out with the adults, but now you're afraid at night. Oh, that's a shitty move
I know it is.
on a
It's rude.
poltergeist part.
Yeah, but it's
classic.
Yeah, it is common
That's what it does.
fucking behavior.
There you go.
It's a trope, if you will. After they explained what had happened, their uncle sat in their room with them for a few minutes. Decent guy, I guess, to do that at least. The activity remained silent while Cousin 3 still laid on the floor, oblivious to anything other than the pillow he still held over his head. This is what confuses me, I have to admit here. This is a digression. Obviously, we do that all the time. If I'm so scared, I am blocking out the world with a pillow in the middle of the floor. All of it, I think it's justified. When the 2 people leave, I'm not going to be the one that remains alone in the room.
No, yeah.
I'm going to be the one in the middle of my 2 other cousins, not back, not 4, fucking getting to the uncle's room.
Yeah.
Unless he was so oblivious
He probably
and then
didn't know.
ran out
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that all of a sudden he was alone, and then
I
the
mean,
only thing he could do was hunker down and double down on fucking not paying attention.
This kid kind of has the right idea though. Like, see no evil, hear no evil.
We've discussed
just
this many times.
Boop, and he's just like, I can't see, you can't hear me, you can't do anything to
Yeah,
me.
it's not always the best.
It's not always the best. Well, it's not the best when you're dealing with, like, say, a real life predator,
No,
be it
well,
animal or
Well,
human.
yeah, no.
Obviously. But against the paranormal, I think I believe this. The strongest defense you have is not believing in it. The second strongest is ignoring it
Or a blanket.
because you give it power.
I mean, generally, yeah, on the bed,
Or
under a
well,
blanket,
yeah.
is
Well, that's a form of
a complete
functional
spell
ignoring.
of protection.
Yeah, it's a shield.
yeah. You throw up in some cultures the duvet, in some cultures the blanket,
Oh,
and
I
you're
love
just
a
like,
good duvet.
yeah, and you're like,
Yeah.
fuck you, you're not there. I know you're there, but you know what? You can't touch me.
And
you
by
can't
doing
see
that,
me.
you're ultimately not believing in
You're
it.
siphoning the power from it
Yeah.
in the Stephen King context of it. I don't know if that really works.
Again,
We've referenced it constantly.
Sure, but we did see like the power of shrinking monsters in last week's pod.
It's true.
So it's not, beyond the pale.
Okay.
Okay. So again, this kid's there hiding in the middle of the fucking room. That's solid. Okay. Confused and a little bleary-eyed, their uncle went back to bed and told the boys to come and get him again if anything happened again. As soon as he was back in his room, the activity returned with renewed intensity.
of course it did.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, that's terrible. Unsure what to do, the boys huddled together on the bottom bunk, sharing a pair of iPod headphones in an attempt to shut out the noises. Quote, we had the volume up really loud, but we could still feel it scratching and pounding on the walls all around us. A really hard hit made me pull out my headphone and look toward the noise, shining my iPod light towards it. As I looked at the source of the noise, I heard a hard scratch coming towards me along the wall. It scraped right up to my face, stopped, and then slammed the wall right next to me. This is some like almost malleable Freddy Krueger Nightmare on Elm Street 1 wall type shit. Like all of a sudden it's just like a thin membrane
Face coming
And
through.
this thing
the
is
finger
like,
feels like, oh, kid face, pop.
yeah, like and whatever it's bizarre how like infatuated and targeting it is to the kids. Because you'd think that it would do the same thing to the uncle. Because why would it not go after the uncle?
Well, because you go
Whatever
after
spirit this
'Cause
is.
that's not what they do.
you go after the things that are most susceptible to you, the ones that feel the fear of your presence.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go saying instantly ultra terrestrials, but I mean, if it is something that feeds on fear or even just maliciously delights and terrifying,
Right.
your fucking probably slightly drunk, bleary-eyed uncle who's dead asleep in the other room and is cool enough to come listen for a little bit and say, come get me if you need help. That dude's all right. That dude's not easily frightened. Or
Say
gives
stay,
you know
stay
why?
with the uncle.
I'll tell you what, when I'm a
Yeah.
kid, I hear a scratch, I think demons from The Exorcist every time. I'm an adult and I hear a scratch, I think fuck that raccoon and I go back to sleep.
There
Yeah,
you go.
well, yeah. Yeah, it's something
Nice.
squirrels, fucking
Yeah,
woodpeckers,
it's always, I will
whatever.
rationalize it as anything I
A
want.
niece or so.
And it's like, you are not powerful enough to ruin this good sleep.
That's funny.
Good sir from The
Nice.
Damned.
Yeah.
So I can see why you focus on kids. Whether or
Yeah.
not you feed on fear, though, that is still a possibility.
Totally.
Okay. I was so terrified, the story continues, I couldn't take it anymore. I put the headphone back in and curled into a ball on the bed. I eventually fell asleep that way, and we left the cabin the next day. And another reason why it might be attacking is that it's a rented cabin. So you got to jump. You always say you got to strike when the iron's hot, as it were. If this place is unoccupied most of the time, when there's kids there that are susceptible to your fucking frightening ways,
Yeah.
and you
yeah.
get off on that for whatever reason, just pure malice or because you're feeding on the terror, you have to like go overdrive on those kids when
Yeah.
they're there.
I guess
Sure.
being a rented cabin. Yeah, I think what's interesting about this whole case here is like this is what started Steven's like journey into the paranormal, which I 100% understand.
Of course.
If I experienced this as a kid, dude, I'd be full on Ghostbusters. I'd be like, how do we send these things to hell where they belong?
That makes sense.
How do we like just wipe them from the face of the earth? Like seriously,
yeah, whatever they are.
Like
Yeah,
having
whatever they
like
are.
feeling a spider crawl in your mouth, and like when you're an adult, you're an exterminator. Like I'm fucking done.
Yeah, totally.
I kill you all. But it could go the
Yeah.
other way too. It could be like, I will pay no attention to this. I will pretend it never happened.
Nah,
I will
man,
get
this
into
would-
like rigorous dogmatic study of shit that is real and fuck you. Or I'll be so afraid that I can't look at a paranormal book for fear of inciting, spectral wrath.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I was trying to look at this skeptically to be like, could he have experienced something and just misinterpreted it? But I'm gonna say no. The hitting on the wall.
Well, there's never a no, just
I
like
mean,
it's never a yes.
Never a no,
right?
but it seems like the way that's getting described and how it is targeting the kids specifically, it seems to me like if it was just some fucking, I don't know, crazy raccoon or a bunch of fucking squirrels up in the attic and shit like that, making a bunch of noises,
Yeah.
or like the walls, the slamming on the wall is what gets me, because okay, the scratches maybe, but with the intensity that he talks about how it's all over the room,
Yeah.
it's clearly meant to terrify. That's not like a, hey, welcome to the party, let's have some popcorn and watch Friday the 13th Part 2 with
Sure.
Rob's buddy. Like,
Yeah.
it's, if it wasn't some sort of spirit or ghost, I'm having a hard time trying to figure out a bunch of birds in the wall flapping the wind. I don't know.
Well, it could be. I mean, it is a cabin in
It's
the
true.
woods.
It is. It's
I
just,
mean, like,
just being the way that it's described, though, it sounds like it's a cacophony of terror coming at you.
Sounds like there's a bit of intelligence. It knows when to stop, and then it knows when to start.
That's
up
the weird
again.
part. Is it has intelligence, and
But
it's clearly there, and it's not interacting with you,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
reacting to you.
Oh,
so as you're
100%.
moving, it's moving. When you're back, dude, the thing at the very end where it slams on the wall, and then I'm doing this for the cameras that are watching. I'm just doing this little hand thing.
In all fairness, before we shot video, you'd be doing the exact same
That's true.
thing.
I would be doing that.
Yeah, you're not doing that for the camera.
So
you're
if
just
the
doing
weird
that.
little scratchy thing is jumping on the wall at you, that's slamming near your head.
See, that seems so acute. And here's the thing. I mean, I know just a little bit more about carpentry than I do about geography, which means dick. I mean, I've helped people that know how to build some things, but barely. So I don't know the space between the wall. But what I would say is that my instinct, bad though it may be, is that he mentioned it's a corner room for a reason. Two walls face things that, could have like places where you could hit.
Right.
But two walls should be facing the outside, where you're, I don't know, you're a story up at least. They're on the second floor, as you pointed out. And again, if things are in the spaces between the walls, this negates it. But like Mark was just saying, the intelligence behind it, the fact that it seems to be skittering until it feels warmth or a heartbeat or however way it registered that the kid was near a wall. Though at this point, I don't know why any part of your body would be touching the wall, but apparently it was. And then just pound it.
Yeah.
Slam hard, like he wrote it all caps. That to me is a really strange. That's not an animal behavior.
No, and this isn't one of those cool hauntings where it's like we saw a woman in an old Victorian dress walk slowly down the stairs and disappear,
Like the old stone tape bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't a fun one. This one sucks and it doesn't like you. And it's not there to have fun with you and your friends.
No,
it's there to just scare the shit out of you for no apparent reason.
it's a dead kid that fucking had fun in that house until he unceremoniously died, and he's like, no kids have fun in this house anymore.
Apparently.
I'm not saying it's a dead kid, but that makes it worse.
It does make it worse,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we really have no reference to
Or it's a
like,
grumpy old man that actually fucking really lived there and hates the summertime antics that have invaded his home.
Oh, summertime fun boys.
I mean, that could be too.
Summertime fun boys and old men do not combine. We know that.
Boys of summer.
After they're gone.
Yeah, that's
Are they
right.
ever gone?
I can see you.
Deadhead sticker on a Cadillac.
We're just going to keep going back.
Just
to
going to go
Henley.
Don Henley.
That's our
all
new
the
thing.
way.
It is. So there it is.
So
Thank
it's
you.
creepy. I'm glad,
Super creepy.
Stephen, that it sent you on this trajectory because you know for a fact that there's something out there. Something. I mean, like I always say, paranatural, paranormal. It's just science undiscovered. Always has to be.
Yeah,
There's
man.
nothing in this world. That's the beauty of science. Science, unlike any other paradigm, be it religion or whatever, as useful as those things may be, is ever expansive. It can always grow to encompass new knowledge. Now, there are dogmatic, ritualistic participants in science that just like, an old-timey preacher fucking will not change. But that's okay because by the time they're in their graves, the next generation is adapting to new science. Eventually, I really do think, maybe with the help of AI, though I'm not going to go down that particular rabbit hole, we will have a science, and maybe hopefully in our lifetimes, where at least some of these paranormal aspects are more seeable. Like, oh, there's residual energy, and maybe it's not even like the soul or the personality of a person, but it's just going through. Who knows what the fuck it'll be? But it'll be measurable. And then maybe there will be like a scientific form of exorcism where you can just use an algorithm, and just like you use raid to kill a bug, you can do something to kill residual hauntings and live a peaceful life, as long as you're not exposed to destroying an immortal soul that's somehow trapped in a house. All that digression aside, I am glad that it puts you in a place where you are more open-minded and to the point where you are actually approaching it, presumably from a scientific perspective. And, so good luck to you and Strange Plains investigations.
Yeah, I think it's great that Steven took this, and kind of used it to propel him into his own field of investigation. That's great because you got something like this that happens to you, and you're like, I'm going to face this thing head on, and I'm doing my own investigations, see what I can figure out. I wonder if you ever went back there.
That's what I was just going to
that would
say.
be interesting.
Man. Oh, I wouldn't. No.
No. You have to.
I will never do such a thing.
If you're a paranormal investigator,
that's your job.
Unless the place is torn down, Chris is right. It's your job. You have to go back and face the thing that put you on that trajectory. Not even necessarily as some sort of catharsis, though it might serve as that. But
now, do you
just
face
to know.
it? You're like, I'm back.
Well, All right, Steven could have taken two paths.
15 years ago, I
Yeah.
faced you.
Okay, so now he's
Now I'm
Quint.
a man.
He's dragging his fingernails down the chalkboard. Oh, we need to kill a
Just
ghost.
spinning a 6-shooter full of like, I don't know, rock salt or something.
Blast. Some
shoot a
fucking
ghost with
Himalayan
salt.
rock salt.
Yeah.
Supernatural.
There you go.
Yeah, some
Yes,
shit.
exactly. They got that cool car.
So he could have meant not to hit the nail too directly on the head. The kind of kid that hid under a fucking pillow in the middle of the room, not bad mouthing the kid that did that. He didn't spend maybe he was afraid for a while, and that's legit. But as an adult, he threw that pillow off, threw down the gauntlet, and started looking into the paranormal.
Yeah, man.
So if
Yeah.
anything,
I like it.
This is a success story.
No, this is great.
Yeah.
And he had this happen to him, and he's like, "Fuck this! I'm charging in head first." And I fucking dig it. So yes, thank you, Steven. And again, be sure to check out his paranormal investigation site there. I'm sorry, I just lost my email. It was called the Strange Plains Investigations. I'm sure you can check that out in the old Facebooks there. Moving on to our next story here, Robert. This person would like to remain anonymous.
All right.
And this is sent to us. Actually, this is from 2023. So this is.
But the ass end of 2023.
Yeah, the cusp of a new year.
Yeah, December 29th, 2023.
Yeah.
So we're right here.
There it is.
All right. Hello, gentlemen. Let me start by saying I love your show. I've been listening for roughly 3 years now. Old school like an old fool.
Nice.
Thank you. And subscribe to the Patreon for roughly 2.
Oh, thank you for your support.
Nice.
Absolutely. Against your disclaimer, I do in fact listen to the show around my kids. In fact, my son and daughter, when they were babies, would nap to the pod, hearing Rob's voice. Tested out multiple times. It's a compliment. Thank you.
Nice.
I do have a
He did
soothing drone.
experiments.
I've put all of my nieces and nephews to sleep 20 years ago. Now they're adults. Hunter has his kids, Liam and Riley, and I still talk. I talk crap. I have a saga about the Pinkatron 2600, which is a spaceship that Hunter and Peyton piloted. She was Princess Peyton at the time, of course, because you know Pepe. And they went on space adventures. This saga continues now with Riley and Liam. I wish it had been recorded. It's absurd. It is the greatest fantasy sci-fi saga ever. I talk until they fall asleep.
You're going into
which is easy to do.
Yeah.
You're going into like acolyte territory with Star Wars.
Oh my god. Oh yeah. We're going.
man.
Just grabbing.
If there
for
was
things.
ever anything canonical, I am fucking deep in the fucking, I was going to say the womb, but no, it's not. Like the fucking
Deep in the womb.
the dark reaches. Anyway,
I love
my
it.
shit aside, thank you for that, and I'm glad, and I hope they continue to enjoy my profane and soothing voice.
Yeah, totally.
The story I want to share with you, I actually shared briefly on a Discord campfire a little while back. Also, we probably heard this firsthand. This is great.
I don't know if we were there for this one.
Oh man! All right, we suck. Once in a blue moon we miss it. Most of them were there for.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't mean to call us out like that. A little while back, but I gave the condensed version there. Hearing the most recent listener stories, I thought I'd share the extent of my experiences that took place. Now, due to it being somewhat of a family/friend ordeal, I would ask that you use my initials. Or use the initials of the parties involved. In this case, our first and middle initials. That's fine, obviously. The parties involved include myself, JT, my 3 older brothers, older sister DM, and one close friend, and close friends, MJ, GP, and TM. They are brothers, and DJ, a friend, unrelated, but obviously a buddy there, in my hometown of Tracy, California. Now to the story.
I think I need a Kodak.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need a legend.
I need a legend. Yeah, it's okay.
I know.
It's okay.
I know the author's JT and his sister's DM, and I'm just going to run with.
We're just going to make this work. It's
Yeah.
okay.
The first experience I can recall took place in 2005 when I was roughly 10 years old. It was during Christmas time, and my family and I had all gone to the outlet shopping center near our home. I'd been in the store with my parents when they asked me to step outside while they shopped. It was a game store, so probably for a gift. Reasonable assumption, I think. As I got outside, I looked up to the sky and I saw what had appeared to be a large, oval-shaped thing hovering in the dark night sky. It had a bright red light at the top, not blinking, and what looked like an oscillating gold light in the middle, or multiple lights. Could it have been a festive blimp, he adds? Possibly.
Always.
I mean,
Always.
It's
No.
not a fucking blimp. I don't know how many times I have to say this on this podcast. I haven't said it in a while. It's not a fucking blimp.
No one sees the Yuletide dirigible.
Sometimes it's a blimp, but it's often not a blimp.
But during the Christmas
All
season?
right, all right, yeah, the Yuletide dirigible. Yeah, fuck.
The Christmas
Sounds
blimp.
cool.
I mean, I wish it was real.
I know, me too.
I want that to be part of the legend. You know what I wish?
I mean,
I wish that there was a
It might be.
dirigible attached to the
Be.
sled so that when like the fucking deer need a nap, because that's a hell of a haul. Like
they're
they
magical deer.
sleep speed through the sky. They curl up into like fetal deer, soar through the sky, but the fucking blimp's doing the work.
But they're
The
magical.
Yuletide dirigible.
But they're magical deer.
Okay.
They're magical.
So what part of flying through the sky while curled up in a fetal position is not magical?
They don't get tired. Their magic propels the sleigh.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Everything gets tired, even the magical.
Power of Jesus doesn't.
If you were magical, oh my God.
I don't think Jesus is powering the sleigh.
You don't know that.
I mean, you don't
No,
know.
I'm pretty
You
sure.
don't know
I'm
that.
pretty sure it's not.
All right, you're right.
All right, back to the story.
I'm
I
just
mean-
saying.
We're going down paths.
If I ever ended up in the fairy hole where I'm there for like 3 hours, but it seems like 10 years out here, I'm going to still take a fucking nap because I love napping whether or not I'm magical.
Yeah, your physiology makes it like you have to.
Because that's part of the joy. And
You-
if you're
well,
living
you
in a
have to
place
go
of
to
pure
bed.
joy and magic, go to fucking bed.
You got to go to bed.
Even if I don't need sleep, I'm going to go to bed.
You got to go to bed.
All right.
Out of all three of us, you don't sleep good, sir.
Hence my fantasies
Ooh.
about napping.
I have some things in my bag for you.
Oh, you're the bestest and the westest.
Some
Continuing.
things.
All right.
Some things.
So just to get back to it, this was not about blimps.
Microdose.com.
Yeah.
Promo code Hellerspace.
Excellent. In 2005, JT was 10 years old. He was at the outlet shopping center with his parents. He was sent outside because they were looking probably for a game for him for
Yeah.
Christmas as a gift. And then he saw a large oval-shaped object hovering in the dark night sky with a bright red light atop of it, not blinking, and golden lights circling the circumference of it, oscillating. Okay. The strange thing was, it was like I was the only person seeing it. As I pointed to the sky, it felt like people were just walking by me and not hearing a word I said. Is that adults' penchant for ignoring children, especially children they don't know, which is a bad habit, by the way? Like, always acknowledge a child in case they're in trouble. Or is it like some paranatural thing and they're glancing up and they don't see
I
anything?
think we're going to have to see what happens.
All right.
Mm.
What felt like a few seconds had passed, and Mom yanked me on my shoulder and asked what was wrong with me. I had been staring at the sky in an almost trance-like state for a few minutes, and they were right in front of me, pulling and calling my name. When I told my mom what I saw, she said there was nothing there, and when I looked back, it was gone. After this event, life went on as normal. Like most 10-year-olds caught in that awkward time period of life as a boy. The next year, we moved to a new house in the same city. About 2 years later, things began to happen that would cause permanent intrigue into the world of paranormal and primarily the extraterrestrial. It was in September of 2008, and I was a few months into 8th grade. One night, I was lying in my room, which was on the second floor of the house, and I kept looking out of the window because I kept getting a distinct feeling like I was being watched. And as the night progressed, that feeling became more and more overwhelming, almost to the point of fear. My usual comfort would have been waiting for my older brother, TM, to come home, as we shared a room, but he had been staying the night at his girlfriend's house, or my other older brother, GP, who had recently moved back in with us but was staying at my older brother MJ's house on the weekend. Okay, so all of that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot there, man.
Not wanting to sound like a little kid, I refused to tell my parents or older sister and ultimately stuck it out until I fell asleep. Luckily, I had my sole piece of comfort in our cat Lulu, who slept in my room with me, but she would ultimately be a part of the fear that took place that night. Oh, the comfort becomes the terror.
No.
To roar.
I mean,
Oh, God.
As the night went on, I was awoken to the sound of Lulu hissing at the window, and as I got up to see what was happening, a light brighter than I have ever seen started shining through my window. Think of high beams 5 times as powerful. I also had a huge mirror for a closet door, so no matter if I looked away, I saw it in my room, and it was illuminated. Lulu began to freak out, and I tried to grab her and calm her down, but she scratched the fuck out of my forearm and soon retreated under my bed, and as soon as the light started, it was gone, and it had felt like I was immediately back asleep.
Yeah, man, I got
Oh.
myself a Lulu taco.
Mm.
Don't fucking grab them cats and they're freaking out because they will
No.
fucking destroy your arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a dog will offer you comfort when you're terrified and probably not attack you. I'm going to say that as a cat lover.
Cat will shred you.
A cat gives zero fucks.
Yeah.
A cat is like, yeah, I'm here to comfort you until such a time as I deem it to get the fuck out of Dodge.
And then I will eat your eyeballs when you perish.
Oh, yeah. No, you will wear an eye patch well, sir, because I will scratch it out of your
Yeah.
fucking skull and get under that bed. And I love cats. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Poor Lulu.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
she's scared.
all right. But here's the weird part. Bright light, bright mirror, bright light.
Yeah. Can't escape it.
Can't escape it.
Fucking shredded forearm. You're going to get fucking infections. We all know that.
Yeah, make
Cat
sure
scratch fever,
Yeah.
driving me crazy.
There you go.
And then instant sleep, not a comfort.
Well,
I mean, we know what that means.
we're going, buddy. We're going places.
All right, I'm going to keep reading
we're
it,
going places.
but it goes without saying.
Oh yeah, no,
the implication is there.
Yeah, we're
All
going
right.
places, buddy.
We're just gonna go places.
It would make sense that this could have been a dream. However, when I woke up that morning, Lulu was still under my bed and the scratch on my arm was a small bloody mess. I wish I could say this was the one and only time Lulu would experience this, and I. As I got up to walk my room, I noticed on my floor there was a formation of socks right in the middle of the floor. Weird, I know. 4 socks balled up, forming a crescent, and 2 stretched out in the shape of a backwards lowercase y underneath. I mean, we've seen a lot of weird formations.
So it's like a crop circle, but it's
A
socks.
sock circle?
Dude.
I mean, of course, the first thing I think is John Edwards and the fucking weird circle of shoes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But just the thought that, yeah, in ancient times they would move monolithic stones, and in other times they
Right.
fucking modify wheat or corn or whatever. And in this poor kid's room, they're taking his dirty ass socks and arranging them in such a way
Yeah, and it's not like
as to convey a message.
it's not like you just kicked your socks off in a cool. You're like, oh, that's a dope pattern, sweet. You just,
No, because they're balled up. Like,
exactly. All right, well,
That's intent.
it is it. You're right. It is intent. You're right. There's there's an intelligent design behind this. Was it Puma Punku?
Well,
All
it is.
right,
It's all right.
Let's get there.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say it is the Puma Punko sock lore.
Okay, there you
Oh,
go.
boy.
Okay.
Sweet.
No mortal could have done this.
Oh my God.
I know.
It's conveying a message through the socks.
Oh God! All right.
That's great.
The strange part about that, aside from the obvious, is that the socks were white tube socks, which I didn't own, and only my older brother JP wore those. And I checked to see if his car was in the driveway, which it wasn't. I also called him, and he was still in San Jose, not
Okay,
fucking around with his own socks
right.
on the bedroom floor.
Yeah.
Dude,
So they're not even his socks.
they weren't even in the socks weren't even in the house.
The socks weren't, dude. That should be a catchphrase on every horror film. The socks weren't even in the
No.
house.
Dude.
Weirder still, but what was likely a bout of pareidolia that I saw, what I can only describe as the face of a gray in the messed up mess of my blankets on TM's bed. I'll never ignore pareidolia. Like, yes, a lot of times things in nature, like I see faces in rocks, clouds.
I mean-
we all do. Anyone with an imagination does.
Dude, we got Jesus in the urinal.
And
Yeah,
or
we
the-
have our
like-
own pareidolia.
obviously, we never
The
pee
Lord and
we
Savior.
never pee in that urinal out of respect.
We can't. No.
You can't.
We just go there. We pay pilgrimage.
No, we bow and then we go into a fucking stall.
We leave nickels.
I know. We should
genuflect-
put a
I'm a-
basket there that says.
I'm a former altar
Yeah.
boy. I can't pee there.
Oh, it's funny.
So that having been said, yes, pareidolia is fucking real. But every now and again, when you see something formed, especially after the fucking sock henge,
Yeah.
as we're gonna call it, fucking,
Oh man.
you gotta
Yeah.
just take it for what it is.
No, dude, everything now is a sign and a symbol.
Everything,
Everything means something.
absolutely. Once I
This is my nightmare because this would kill me.
oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, and if you already have like even hints of OCD, you're like, what the
Oh
fiddly
yeah.
fuck?
Oh yeah. I sure shit too. Spoiler
Absolutely.
alerts.
No, yeah, join the club.
Yeah.
All right. After some time had passed and failed attempts to rationalize what happened I think he meant it right. I committed a common folly. I told my parents. So it was just a miswrite, but yes.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do?
My kind, loving, and rugged Vietnam vet of a father chalked it up to a bad dream. a legit dad response.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and it is a possibility.
My equally kind / loving mother came to the same conclusion. The only one who took a real interest in what I was saying was GP. He pulled me aside and asked me if I had seen something in the room. When I told him no, why, he opened up about him and MJ were around my age, if not younger, when they were visited by a skinny old man, or poached, as they nicknamed gray aliens.
Poached.
Poached.
The poached.
The poached.
Yeah.
It just sounds awful, dude. Just like
well,
floating in water.
it's not
like
even just a
poached.
just like
It's
lightly
so gross.
wrinkled.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Oh my God, the
Just
poached.
moist and wrinkled and weird and floating.
I mean, I get
Why
it
is
for
that
sure.
the worst thing? I
Yeah.
mean, I used to like poached eggs when I was a
Ugh.
kid. Now I'll never even again. Literally because of this fucking account.
I think my wife's tried to make them for me, and she's a hell of a cook, and I
Yeah.
just can't get into
you
them.
gotta strain them a lot.
I don't
If there's
know,
any
man.
extra moisture, it's fucked.
I can't.
You don't like a poached egg. You know what's also good? A fried egg.
I like a fried egg.
A fried egg's fine.
I like a scrambled egg in a breakfast taco.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, give me a breakfast taco.
Hey,
do
give
it.
me a fucking frittata.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Give
Okay.
me a
All right.
El Paso omelet.
All right. We're here. The
mean-
poached. The poached.
So it's the poached, and I don't think the three of us are ever going to quite get over that.
nope. We're done. Yep.
As they nicknamed gray aliens, which to me is a huge jump too. Because, all right, we're starting off by being visited by a skinny old man, which could be a screen memory. It could be, but it could be a ghost.
Right.
It could be demonic. It could be all sorts of fucking shit.
I mean, yeah.
To jump to the poached, which obviously we all got hung up on. It's acceptable.
No, we're making it.
And then he mentions the poached as they nicknamed the alien grays, which, by the way, if I already hated grays, calling them the poached did not help.
No, made it worse.
Yeah, it just makes it really gross.
Yeah.
GP still believes to this day that he was abducted as a kid. What made this event a little more troubling was when I told my close friend DJ and sent him a drawing of what was on the ground in my room. And in an almost shocked state, he asked where that had been. As it turns out, he had been having similar experiences with something, quote, watching him, end quote, and even running through his backyard, and he soon followed it up with a picture he had taken on his phone of the same type of quote unquote sign, only his was formed on his bathroom mirror in shower smoke, aka steam.
Yeah, I like shower
But I like shower smoke
yeah.
better.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
fine.
just like, all
Shower
right.
smoke.
Same symbol. So all right, let's go back to that again.
As the
just for a
sock
second.
symbol.
Crescent,
Crescent.
Yeah.
and then the
crescent with a
backwards-
Where's
backwards
Y?
lowercase
thing.
y.
Yeah.
No, backwards.
Yeah.
So like almost an X,
Oh, well.
but a backwards Y.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah,
back.
Yeah,
well, yeah.
we all we use our fingers to count and to draw. It
and
just
we
makes sense.
determined
Yeah.
that there's no pen in the studio, so we can't.
We
draw.
really did. Shamefully, we have 11 markers and no pen.
We're
we
getting
can't
kicked out
sign
of our
our
fucking
lease.
studio. 'cause
We've lost the
Mark
studio.
can't sign the fucking
Sign our
sheet.
lease.
We're gonna be fucking potting behind a dumpster because we can't
We're
find
gonna
a
rip this
fucking
fucking
pen.
carpet down as soon as possible.
I think Brad is going to understand. I'm like, Brad, I know you're going to find this. You're going to be shocked about this. We didn't have a pen.
Shocking.
Shocking. All right, so they have a weird sign showing up. You got
And
your
this
buddy experience in this,
DJ
which is weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Things running around his backyard.
That's exactly. Is he watching it through the window or is he chasing it in the yard? We don't know.
I don't know, man.
It's a lot.
Well, he tried to get a picture of it, so
Yeah, it's actually crazy. Okay.
I'm sorry. He got a picture of the sign in the shower.
Yeah,
So-
DJ,
In the smoke.
DJ
Yep,
took
smoke.
Shower smoke.
yeah,
Shower
the shower smoke symbol. JT did not have the same tech, obviously, and he drew a sketch of it. Legit.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay.
Now, the rational, common sense thing to say is that he would have been playing a trick or fucking around with me as 8th graders are wont to do. But what leads me to believe that this wasn't the case is, one, never did this come up amongst a group of friends in a joking manner or used against me. And two, the picture he sent me, you could see his window and it was a daylight blue sky outside. He sent me the pic in the dark of night. This was also 2008, and we didn't have the greatest of tech to alter the image taken to our shitty flip phones, which is legit as a flip phone owner until like last year.
Yeah, totally.
So
Yeah.
I get that. And I also get too, that's a really good call for a young person to make. Like, it's blue sky, it's daylight. He didn't just whip it out in the mirror.
Yeah, no.
Fucking and be like, oh, hey. It's like
Yeah.
that,
It's weird.
is happening to friends.
It's weird.
This really could be the cusp of a major situation. I mean, I don't want to go too big too early, but Jesus
I mean, it
Christ.
depends what the symbol
Means,
is.
yeah. But the fact that it's affecting people in a friend group and maybe not multi-generationally, but older brothers as well.
Yeah, it's,
Fucking Sockhenge really throws me for a loop.
oh, there's more, friend.
Okay.
There's more.
Nothing major would happen for a while until 2009. Now in high school with a group of friends, I decided to go watch a movie that had just come out about alien abductions, The Fourth Kind. I remember that Mila Jovovich.
Yeah.
Jovovich, I don't know if I'm saying it right,
Yeah.
but yes, I remember seeing it. It was pretty good movie. I was excited because I had gotten really into the concept of aliens and such over the years, and I was originally going to watch it with GP and TM that night, but instead went with friends to an earlier showing. I did enjoy the movie and wasn't scared or anything, but what stood out to me was the scene when the shadows of what are depicted as alien grays started to come into the room and surround one of the characters' bed. I don't know why, but I began to feel uneasy, but ultimately left the movie fine. GP and TM asked me how it was. I said good, but I didn't go into detail until they saw the movie later that night, and by the time they got home, I was already asleep, but that would soon change. Over the years since, I have been no stranger to sleep paralysis. This was the first time I could recall experiencing it, and it would leave all three of us slightly traumatized. Oh, that's interesting. A three for fucking
Okay.
sleep paralysis.
Yeah, man.
I woke in the middle of the night, unable to move my body, only my head. There was a heavy humming I could hear. Knowing TM was going to be gone, I thought I could try to get his attention. I tried to yell, but nothing came out. So when I moved my head to look at him, he was already staring back at me. And what you can only describe was the exact same state. That's when my fear turned to horror. The next thing I remember is waking up and going downstairs to face breakfast with the family. Since it was Saturday, TM was already downstairs and appeared, at least to me, to be shaken up. GP hadn't yet come down. When he did finally join us, he seemed noticeably shaken. My parents asking us what was wrong, we all said nothing. It was afterwards, once my parents had left the table, that GP told us about his experience that night. It was identical to ours, with the exception of he could hear what he described as a voice in addition to the humming. We told him ours, and to this day do not know what happened. Although GP and I have similar conclusions, we both felt uneasy during the same scene. TM has never since talked about it. So they all experienced it. They all discussed it.
Yeah.
It was independent to a degree.
Yeah.
Not that they, people couldn't corroborate a story later, but right. I tend to trust eyewitnesses.
No,
I believe this.
Totally.
Lastly, I wouldn't have, any more shared experiences with my brothers. My sister DM would be witness to one of mine. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh boy.
This was a couple of years later. TM had since moved out, and GP was staying at MJ's house for a while. My parents had taken a trip to a casino for the weekend, so DM and I had the house essentially to ourselves. She worked a closing shift at a retail outlet a few cities away, so she got home usually pretty late. At this time, we had multiple pets in the house. One cat, Lulu, the legend.
Nice.
Yeah. One small dog and two large huskies. I felt pretty secure at home. I went to sleep as usual, and I was woken up by the deep barks of the huskies from downstairs and the little yaps of our small dog running up the stairs. To my horror, the same blinding light that I had first experienced a few years prior was back shining through the window, shining back as well from my closet door/mirror.
Yep.
Lulu, who was in my room again, began hissing on the edge of my bed this time, not at the window, but at my bedroom door, which was cracked open for the pets to come in. Oh, that's ominous. Which is when a large, slender shadow came in from the door. It was extremely tall with long arms, long fingers, and an egg-shaped head. I couldn't make out any additional features. I couldn't see Lulu anymore, and finally it began reaching towards me. I could see its fingers going toward my face, and right as I felt it grab me, I heard the voice of my sister screaming at me to open my eyes. She had been trying to shake me from a trance-like state for a few minutes. She heard me screaming for help from outside when she got home. When she got in the house, the dogs were in all corners, tucking themselves away. When she asked what had happened, I said, I didn't know. I just saw something, and that was the end of it. Holy fuck. That is crazy.
Dude.
And it's got some deep implications.
Yeah, you're almost like, please be a Dover demon. It would be so much cooler if you were.
Yeah, don't suck and be a fucking tall, slender alien, shadow alien. But here's where I'm most intrigued. Because she's waking her brother up from a trance. And I know that other people have talked about the implications of the abduction scenario maybe being a like the astral body, even though there's physical, obviously there's a lot of physical trauma and implants that are found later. So I'm not saying it's a universal thing, that it's always in the head, but that, you know, a part of you, an essential part of you is what's being abducted or dealt with or being felt, you know, by a gray grabbing your face or whatever.
Yeah.
But that it maybe reflects on your physical body, but it is happening to a seminal part of you that isn't necessarily corporeal.
They're accessing our minds across time and space.
But what makes this interesting is that the dogs were definitely reacting, and if it was simply a bad dream, animals would not react.
The lights were back too, and the cat's freaking out. Like someone might want to be like, Lulu, let's not scratch my arm again.
Well, he knows not to grab her this time.
Yeah, it's true.
Notice she's on the edge of the bed. He's not touching her. Yeah. Lesson learned.
There you go.
No, I don't think he's paralyzed at this point, JT.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but it is kind of odd. We can finish this up and then we'll...
So we will finish it up, but one last thing I want to say is that there is also the chance that I'm reading too much into the non-corporeal aspects and that this thing was reaching for the face and the sister came in the house and then it vanished, went through, you know, walls, dematerialized as these things are wont to do.
He was screaming for help.
And she was just... like getting there just as that thing left.
This is
the time, it's hard to see what overlaps kind of with what.
Like my first instinct is to say like, oh, he's out of it believing this is happening. And it is happening to a part of him.
Right.
And then the sister breaks the trance, but it also could have just been just timing. Like corporeally it was happening and it scooted. All right, last bit. I don't know how to explain all of it. And there were many more situations that took place, but these are the main ones I can recall in detail. I've tried to rationalize all of it over the years, but still can't figure it all out. Thank you guys for being a place where people can be heard without ridicule. Keep it up. Thank you, JT.
Word up.
No, for sure.
It's amazing.
Sure.
It's
the
corroborative elements are really incredible.
There's a lot of people involved with this, from his brothers to his sisters to his friends. Which is there's obviously some kind of common thread here.
And what's interesting
whatever's visiting them is doing it to more than one throughout the years.
Yes.
So you've got the brothers with the poached and the super
the old
scary
skinny old
thing.
man.
Yeah. And obviously we're going extraterrestrial with this.
Well, it seems obvious, lights from the sky.
There's not, and it
egg-shaped skinny things.
And this whole thing starts like he's outside like a GameStop or something, and he sees some ship, and nobody else sees it but him.
And what's interesting about that
plays into the psychic ability of this thing, man, getting into your brain holes from Jupiter.
Well, not necessarily from Jupiter, but you're absolutely right. The extraterrestrial paradigm or interdimensional paradigm or whatever the fuck it may be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely allows for psychological manipulation. That goes without saying.
Yeah, man.
So they froze this kid, but I'm not entirely ruling out the possibility that he was abducted outside that GameStop because he was snapped out of a deep trance by his mom after some time had passed. Sometimes abductions, I mean, the classic ones, you're gone 3.5 hours and you look at the clock and 20 minutes should have passed or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And it's a missing time scenario. And then acknowledging the missing time scenario is where people look deeper into it, sometimes go through regressive hypnosis or whatnot.
Yeah.
But other times they are lickety fucking split. It's like it's say a 5-minute thing and you're zoomed in back, teleported, whatever the fucking tech is. And the fact that he was in a trance to me is indicative of at least the hint of, I'm not saying dead up that he must have been, an abduction scenario. So it might have started there. And here's the other thing. There is a huge filial connection, an inter-family connection with abductions. It happens to her grandma, happens to her daughter, happens to her grandson. It just goes on and on and on.
They occasionally tie that to the hybrid program, right?
Mm-hmm. And they sometimes tie it to old bloodlines, like if you're of a royal bloodline, but I think that's I think it's a combination of maybe honest and maybe self-aggrandizement. I can't help but think, like, oh, I'm the kings of Rome, and they abduct me.
In my former life, I was Cleopatra.
I'm so
Hence the
special.
aliens. Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not true, but I don't love that line of thought. But you can't erase it just because I
There's
don't love it.
got to be something there, though, because this is not the first time that we've heard of a lineage of people having this happen.
Right, but his friend had a thing too. It wasn't just a family.
That's
yeah, no, that's what I was going to.
because that brings
the mirror was not family.
I was going to follow that up.
Right, he wasn't
Like,
related to the
not
mirror.
the mirror.
Like, I was going to follow that up with like, okay, you have the sisters and the brothers, and obviously all that tied there, but then it connects out to his friend who has a similar experience with this sign. So I don't know, man. That's just,
well, do you remember
like a field of effect? Maybe, I don't know. Like, why would it?
I would love
choose
to
them too.
have like Rob Christofferson or some very knowledgeable ufological person on right now. But recently, I mean, I've known about the story for years, but in like the last few years, the Netflix special did the thing on that mass abduction, I think in Massachusetts, that involved a bunch of different kids that didn't know each other from school, but then later recognized each other as being on the ship. There was like a mass abduction event in the late 60s, I think it was. It's on one of those like I don't
unexplained whatever for Netflix,
like one of those UFO type, one of those things.
Yeah, I think it's like the newest one that came out.
Not the newest one. The newest one has different weird shit.
Okay,
but like the one before that came out.
Okay,
and the main eyewitness, I apologize. He's like, shorter, bald, glasses, middle-aged, a little older maybe, and he talks about it very eloquently, and then other people that experienced it that were children at the same time also went through it. He was going through a covered bridge at the time with his mom and grandma and I think brother when the lights started coming through in the mayhem. My point is, no more digressing about that. You can look that up, easy to find, especially if you have Netflix. Mass abductions of friend groups or groups that live in a geographically similar area but are not genetically related is not uncommon. Not super common, but it has definitely happened.
What's interesting too is towards the end here where his sister kind of, I guess, walks in on him mid-abduction, which is really creepy because he sees whatever this thing is. Now, he's describing it as a gray. I'm hoping that it's a Dover demon personally.
Sure. Everyone does.
But so she walks in on it. She comes home and he's screaming. She can hear him screaming. That really fucking unsettling.
Is the implication
it's like some weird? It's almost like some weird, like we're saying, like where it's happening to you, like on a psychic level, where it's there.
So that's the thing I would say. Is it in his head, or spiritual, or metaphysical, or this? Because so many times, if you're laying next to someone, a loved one, a husband, a wife, whatever, they are paralyzed. And they have no recollection that you were taken, experiments were performed and sent back.
Right.
They just know they had a weird deep sleep. If somebody comes in, because at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., a lot of people don't come into fucking houses generally unless they work weird shifts. Were they able to do they paralyze, except for animals who seem to be immune to it and terrified of it. They have a certain cone of influence, a sphere of influence that goes like this way, that all the people are asleep, but if somebody comes from the outside of that, they can fucking shatter it. Because she was driving home, just arrives there, wasn't in this sphere of catatonic influence, walks in and everything disappears and all she catches is her brother screaming and fucking what the fuck's going on.
Him being aware enough to know that he can see what's coming at him, which is what's even stranger too is that everyone got triggered by that whole movie scene where they're like, "Oh fuck!" The whole. I think I actually remember that. That was the one where they're in Alaska, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was, and it's played almost documentary style.
Yeah.
And it's not based on reality, but it gives that impression.
No, apparently there was a bunch of weird shit that happened up there. I think it was more murders though, possibly.
I mean.
Years ago, I told you guys that there was a gentleman at work who was a trucker who actually worked up there when all that shit happened, and he was like, "That place is fucked."
Yeah,
and
it's like a Wild West.
And he was like,
place.
"It wasn't about aliens."
You might have modern forensics. You might have all the techniques that are applied, and surely they're applied in Juneau and other Anchorage and whatnot, and maybe other places. But it's still a kind of Wild West environment.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, we all know, and we celebrate the fictional Wild West where people died willy-nilly and no one gave a fuck. And damn well some of them were serial killers and got away literally with murder because there was criminals, there was no fucking serious law enforcement, and there certainly wasn't any forensics. I'm not saying Alaska is the equivalent of the American Wild West, but it's as close as we fucking have in the United States.
Yeah, man.
And in Canada, probably.
And that's what
the
for
Yukon
Alaska.
Territory, the whole 9
The
yards.
Yukon.
So you're going to get killed up there.
Settle down.
I'm excited. Rob
Hard.
got me pumped about
No, I
Alaska.
get it.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, okay.
Alaska.
They talk about the Alaskan Triangle, but it's like everybody flies up there all the time. So the sheer mass of plane loss is going to be epic. And there's a lot more in populated areas, so not finding them is not going to be uncommon. Like, I'm not blown away by the idea that it's something paraphysical. I'm like, it's just fucking a lot of planes and a lot of space.
Yeah.
Could be an alien base.
And it could be a fucking black pyramid
Yes,
beneath a
could
mountain.
be.
I'm not saying it's not.
And
Yes.
there's a lot of space for that.
So I'm curious for the follow-up here. Obviously, with JT here, he said that this sent him off into like the whole extraterrestrial, investigating. I wonder if he's had anything else happen. I mean, now he's obviously a father. He has children who listen to our podcast. What up, tiny people?
Yeah, sleep
Hey.
well.
Hey,
Yeah.
I mean, not for this. Jesus.
Well, I
This
mean,
would
if they don't know
terrify
it
me.
was their dad, it'll be fine. We just
So,
used initials.
I do wonder if he's following up on this or if he has any like current experiences. So I guess that would be like my thing is like if this happens to me once, I'm going to be fucking terrified.
the rest of your life.
The rest of my life, this is
Sure.
going to happen to me.
Dude, if you have a panic attack, you live in fear for I don't know how long for the next shoe to drop.
I lived in fear for years
Yeah.
because I had vertigo as a kid.
There you go.
And I'm like, the Giants are coming to get me. I'm going to die. And that's what I thought was happening.
100%. Who wouldn't?
Giants.
Even I was dizzy.
No, I know.
And I was
know.
like, the Giants, no. Yeah.
And now
See?
your kid's fighting the
See?
Disney Giants,
No,
literally.
He's fine, though. He's good.
No, I know. He's, because he's got patches.
His viral vertigo has gone.
My point is, yes, we all kind of live in fear of things that happen, and you just have to like reclaim normalcy and find a way. You can't always live in terror of the next drop.
Yeah, but I don't know if I would, personally, I don't know if I would dive into anything paranormal or
or avoid it
extraterrestrial.
like the plague.
After I heard,
Yeah.
after this happening, I'd be like, I'm not fucking getting near any of this shit with you assholes in your fucking podcasts.
Yeah,
Which I appreciate him getting a hold of us and telling us his story, but my God, this is fucking traumatizing.
Okay.
Like, this
Yeah,
shit
but
is
like,
scary.
it's better like to know than to make a plan.
Yeah,
not
right?
true.
Like,
knowledge is power.
No, it's true.
not just with us, with anything.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, it's like a fire drill, dude. We haven't done one here yet.
That's fine.
There's a fire. Where do we go?
Outside.
yeah, we just leave.
We got to pick a meeting spot for all of us.
Outside.
Not that way.
America's
that
truck.
way.
Why would we go that way? Oh, if the
Because
fire's
it's the
that
front
way?
of the building.
We don't. We're way at the ass end of the building.
But that's where the first responders will be.
I think we go to the closest door.
Why would we walk 3 times as long to get to the exit?
There's stairs over there, and there could be smoke coming down those stairs. That's what I'm saying. In an orderly
There's
fashion,
not.
All right,
we all
smoke
walk
goes up,
together. We all walk
not
together
down.
to the front.
Here, I'm gonna establish the
Smoke's
fire
not going
protocol right now. Wherever there's the fire, we walk in the opposite direction. We go outside.
Okay, fine.
Is that good? Is that the plan?
Yeah, if there's
what-
fire on the stairs,
Walk away from the fire.
If one of us is in the bathroom, we all go together to get that person.
if there's
Sure.
a fire NATO,
No
on the stairs,
podcaster left
then
behind.
we'll walk down that way.
Pinch it off, Bob. We gotta go. Why? There's a fire.
Oh, I
NATO.
shat here once.
There's a fire.
now
NATO.
it'll never be forgotten.
I mean,
It was a huge shit, though.
I mean, you should. This is.
Oh yeah,
our,
I took
our,
a
it's our
traumatic
studio.
shit like a month
this
ago.
is.
Oh, yeah.
This is our place of employment,
Dude, I mean, once I shat here, I know we claimed it. I mean, all three of us have to shit here
Yeah.
to make it officially ours. Chris and I have shat here. Have you?
No,
Have you fucked in the
He
studio?
refuses.
not yet.
Well, give it time.
Yeah. Hey, Nicole, want to
Yeah.
come into the studio?
Yeah, I got to move the futon. No big deal.
Right.
Oh man, that's hilarious. So there it is. There you have
Yeah,
it. Thank
thank
you all
you.
so very much.
I will say that before you do the closing things, though, I will say this to JT. I am interested to know if you've had further encounters as an
Sure.
adult. What,
For sure.
if anything, you and your brothers and sister have maybe discussed in the
Yeah, so
intervening
I'm
years.
Curious to know
If anyone's like closing it off, if any of your siblings have further embraced it, if you're still in contact with your friend, I believe it was DJ, but I get lost in acronyms. And like if there was any payoff, if anyone else that you know of in that area, because if it's just a friend group and family thing, or if it's a more expansive thing, if you've heard of like legends of more abductions or alien interactions of any sort, I would be intrigued. And of course, let us never forget Sockhenge. Have you
Yeah.
ever seen that symbol
Oh, yeah.
specifically? Not getting caught up on the
I'm
socks.
curious
but
what
that-
that is. Yeah, I
that-
would be
and-
curious to know what that is.
And I would love to see it like drawn. I mean, I can imagine, the shape.
I would be looking for
But
that the rest of my life in
My
something.
mind puts it in the place of like a Nordic rune.
Yeah,
like a backwards
sort of,
Y,
the backwards
Yeah.
Y.
and then like a crescent, like a that I can see that.
100%
I
runish.
can see that.
Yeah.
But I would be looking for that symbol in everything the rest of my life.
So let us know about any of those things if you can. And
yeah, for sure.
again, thank you, like Mark said, for sending it. And I'm going to say sweet dreams to your children.
Yes, enjoy
Yipperdoodles.
children. Evil Science and Magic Buddies. Listener Stories, Part 31. I don't know why I announced Evil Science and Magic Buddies, but I don't care. Listener Stories, Part 31. Thank you all. If you would like to include your experiences into this series, you can write into us at cryptonautpodcast@gmail.com, or you can visit cryptonautpodcast.com. There's a contact form there. You can do it there. Just please refrain from DMing me these things on Instagram, because I'm just going to ask you politely to please put it in an email, because I can't copy, cut, and paste an entire thing from
that makes sense.
Instagram. It's insanity to do that. So there it is. Send them in. We love hearing from y'all out there, and yeah, keep those coming.
And like I said, I have access to the archives now, so it is.
Yeah, no, Rob has it.
I'm doing deep dive. Like I've been doing deep dives in books, websites, YouTube channel, all that shit, all my
I've
life.
got this.
Now I've been saving it as a surprise because I love when Mark brings these things. But now that I have access, I'm really going to be doing a serious deep dive, and so it's going to be.
And there's a couple
more
that I
prolific part of the show.
I tagged for you. I'm like, rewrite this one. Like,
100%.
And I tagged.
And they are definitely right at the forefront.
Awesome. Excellent. So, Robert, we're going to do some shout outs for the good folks that support us over there at Patreon, patreon.com/Cryptonaut Podcast.
Saints all.
Yes.
Supporting us. Bless you. Bless your hearts. Jared C.
Thank you, Jared.
Squonk Puddle.
Hell
oh my God, that just
yeah.
made me so happy. Squonk Puddle.
Thank you.
That's so evocative. I love it. All right. I'm going to do my best because I know we've talked before. I believe he's been to like a campfire. I'm not sure.
No, he's like permanent on the Discord.
Yes. And all right. So Dhruv Barvalia.
I believe so.
I'm going with that. If we got it wrong, man, you send it back with like the phonetics, and you get that second shout.
What up, Drew?
But thank you for all your support, for always participating.
Yeah, Burrs.
It's fucking awesome. And anyone else, please get on our Discord. We have great interactive like events there, movie screenings, campfires, general just chats, and it's awesome. And the three of us participate whenever we can. And Mark's there literally 24/7. So fucking please sign up if you're a patron. You've already got it. Moving on. Gargoyle.
Thank you, Gargoyle.
Love gargoyles. I've gone down that rabbit hole before. Jordan Petit.
Thank you, Jordan.
And you know what? Thank you for the phonetics.
Yeah, no,
Thank
for
you.
sure.
I might have gotten it right, but I might have gone Pate. Who the fuck knows?
Right.
Jordan Petit.
Pat T. Love it.
Caleb Bunnage.
Thank you, Caleb.
Nikolai or Nicolage.
We're not sure. I
Or
think it's Nikolai.
Nicolay. It might be like the Jägermeister J.
It
The
could be.
Y. So I'm gonna I'm gonna go Nicolay.
Nicolay.
If it's right,
I
it's
support
right.
it.
And if it's not Nicolay, let us know. Give us the right pronunciation. You get it again.
There you go.
Christopher Galliano.
Thank you, Christopher.
I feel like that's a detective agency or a used car lot.
Yeah, one of the two.
I love that.
There's
though.
something local that's Galliano.
I know.
I don't think it's spelled the same. Though.
Maybe
There's
not.
Galisano Center.
Oh yeah, that's a child's
Not,
hospital.
yeah, it's not that.
Yeah,
Galliano.
but-
all right, cool.
Nick Sage.
What up, Nick Sage?
Last, as always, never least, Cody Rushing.
Thank you, Cody.
Dope.
Thank you all so much for that monthly support over there, patreon.com/Cryptonaut Podcast. The $1, the $5, and of course the newly launched $10. Check it out.
Fancy pants.
We got all kinds of stuff
Doing
happening
it.
on that $10 tier. We're just a little content factory over
we
here.
are.
We're just putting
Churning
that
it
stuff
out.
up. We got videos pumping them out. So again, check it out. Thank you to everyone over there that supports. It's very much appreciated. We got the Instas and the Twitters and the Facebooks happening. The socials of the medias. We have merch available at hellerspace.com, which is our TeePublic shop. And we also have merch available at cryptonautmerch.com. Recently launched the hats.
Yeah.
Selling a lot of hats.
Really?
Hats are moving like hotcakes.
People love hats.
People like hats.
People like hats.
We love it. Look at you guys.
I mean,
Yeah.
I was wearing my hat until I gave it away.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to get a new hat.
It's okay. You're going to be getting a new hat.
I love new hats.
No, new hats are fun.
Do we have more hats?
We have a lot of hats.
I'm going to get the full collection of hats.
I think
Why not?
do we have the full collection of hats? I think we do. I
mean,
think we purchased all of them.
have we?
We have.
Yeah, we don't have any.
But we've
sample
dispersed them
of one.
amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like no one of us owns the full collection of
Oh
hats.
yeah, no, but I mean, just as
No,
all the
no.
samples that we got. I think we
Yeah.
have them
Yeah,
all.
we've got a
Oh,
version
yeah.
of every hat.
Oh,
Yes.
Just yes.
Because we didn't want to put them out in case they were garbology.
shit,
Yeah, yeah.
So-
Which people have been asking for the International Occult Laborers Union on a hat. Unfortunately, it's too detailed and it can't
I know.
fit.
I drew that shit for a T-shirt.
so
I was
detailed.
not thinking ahead. It's my bad.
It's fine. It happens. It's no big deal.
And maybe we'll do a simplified version.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, regardless, the hats are up there. They're rocking. They're making it happen. And yeah, there you have it. Thank you all so very much. And we're talking to you soon.
Can't wait.
Next
Do
week,
it.
folks. Next
Next
week.
week.
Come back next week.
Oh, where you'll be in store for some shit.
I don't know if that's really.
Oh no, it's. I mean, barring any
the
fucking
way you said
craziness,
shit.
I'm just saying it's going to be fucking nuts.
All right. Well, I talked to Rob about next week's story
Okay.
real briefly.
I'm
He didn't,
excited.
Didn't
Yeah,
give me
we
a lot of
talked about it.
details.
No, I told Chris and you about it
Okay.
separately
Yep.
and
All right.
gave nothing up.
All right. Well,
It's
we'll
fucking
see.
nutso.
All right, man. There it is.
I'm in.
Come back next week for Nutstown. Yeah.
Wow.
Dude.
Nutso Calutzo.
Taint City.
Dude, you want to get nuts?
Population 3.
Let's get nuts. Oh, Jesus.
You want to get nuts?
Oh,
Let's get nuts.
Oh boy.
Peace.